Hey, what's up, everybody? Good morning. It's Weird Wednesday, unusual opening stream. I'm going to be playing different kind of stuff I normally wouldn't play here. Blitz and rapid, anything between our usual 5+3 and 7+3 challenges. I've got two challenges at 7+3 and 5+3 as we speak. Diva Karan and Santa Claus. Santa Claus dropped a few rating points. It looks like he's down to 2375. What's up, Arsenal fan? It's a little strange not seeing Troll on a roll here. He's usually my first challenge almost every morning. Some kind of chess 960 challenge, which I don't mind not doing on Wednesday because the theme here is unusual openings. In chess 960 there are no openings at all. Well, there are openings in chess 960. I wouldn't begin to know how to classify them. Alright, guys, so the theme again, unusual openings. I'll try to play something out of the ordinary, like a little bit out of my normal repertoire, not like really bad, crazy, bad, horrible openings, but variations and systems that I normally wouldn't include in my everyday repertoire. So, I'd appreciate if we don't go, playing like H4 on move 1 and stuff like that, but stuff outside the normal for me. Alright, I'm ready to get started. You guys can check out my YouTube channel. I do post all the videos up over there. Video chess training on YouTube. I'm going to take any subscriber challenges first. So, actually, Arsenal fan said I need something to eat before playing. So I think that means it's another way of saying he doesn't want to play first. So I'm going to delay his challenge, though he is a subscriber. And we'll start with this challenge from the winner of the tournament yesterday, Diva Karan. This is rapid 7+3. This guy won or girl, I don't know. This player won the our Tuesday night blitz tournament 5+2 yesterday. I have one draw where they played really well against me. So I don't know. Pretty strong player by the looks of it. Yesterday, I guess quite fast. But I mean, I've only played one game with him, so I can't really say too much. But they finished like first or second in the blitz tournaments I had on Tuesdays. We've had other players from India here, not that much recently in my stream. There was a really dedicated player called Constant Change. He played like 100 games against me, but he sort of disappeared. Was I white in another game we played? I think I was. So who knows, it could have been this variation now, I don't recall. I'm supposed to play unusual openings. Oh no. I totally forget like the first game usually. Alright guys, sorry. No unusual opening. What am I doing? It's too late now. This happens sometimes. I'm just in the morning and I don't really think about it. Alright, I meant to play something unusual. I meant to play unusual lines, dude. So I'm sorry about that. But I just get into a routine and I forget. I was playing the Blitz tournament last night and I was just playing my like mainline repertoire. So we'll just play this one game and then go back to the theme of the day, which is unusual openings. I can't really do much now. Playing bad or strange moves now isn't going to change anything. Unless we take back all the opening moves. Which would be a process to do like 8 takebacks. It's sort of silly. I think we'll just finish the game normally at this point. Sometimes I need a reminder. Our moderator isn't here, Soltigo. He probably would have reminded me. I know that he's recovering from illness, so we're in operation. Serbian Santa Claus. Santa started to work 12 hours per day, and that's the reason for my low rating. Ouch. Thanks for saying that A6 is a bad move. Although I had a game the other day where the guy played like perfectly after that. In the simul. And strangely enough, it was a draw, but I had an advantage in that game. Oh, I remember now. So you played a6, and then you got a bad position, but you still drew like the other guy. I'm not having a very good record with that. Yeah, this is the main line, but there are other moves. There's the gambit d6, which has never fully been like respected. There's queen a5, queen a5, that's knight takes d4. Also knight g4 is another interesting line that's got a fairly okay reputation. Nefedov, one of our regulars here, he's not here today that I can see, but he also plays this line with black, and I think I had to resort to playing like a second-rate move like queen h4 against him to confuse him or something. Queen h4 and bishop g5 are natural, but they're considered to be moves that black can meet if he plays accurately. So those very aggressive moves, bishop g5 and queen h4, may not be that strong. This is an unusual move here, queen c7. Well, I mean, obviously it can be hit by bishop g5 and knight d5, but it can also lead to problems where the queen is going to be exposed on the c file. I guess it's not that bad. It defends the pawn on b7, actually, somewhat logically. If we do something like knight to d5, knight d5, knight takes d5, pawn takes d5, I mean, that's not really that big of an issue. I think that the problem with queen c7 may be the fact that, you know, it's like a front-loaded battery. I mean, it's better to have like the rook facing off on the c file than the queen, but probably it's not such a bad move, actually, now that I think about it. Queen c7, not the best move. I mean, I think it's usual to play rook b8, I guess. Rook b8, or, you know, there are other moves. Bishop f5, bishop e6 is a pawn sacrifice, but that's without a6. Once you play a6, maybe you're kind of committed to playing rook b8. But it's kind of inherently logical for black. The only thing is, like, he probably ends up having to make another move with the queen eventually. Queen d7 here. I get an h3, this prophylactic move will take control of g4 and prevent him from getting stuff like bishop g4, knight g4, queen h5, bishop h3, all sorts of nasty stuff. I can play king h2 and sidestep that. Yeah, the English can transfer to Marazzi, of course, but I mean, normally when you play the English, black isn't allowing you to play e4 as well. I mean, I think that the English is okay. Yeah, Arsenal fan, you probably would do alright with it. But you get very minimal kind of advantages. You know, I mean, you're playing for small advantages oftentimes with the English. It's not like you're playing for mate in most lines. Serbian Santa Claus reached 2478. Oh man. What are you now? 2375. I would think you'd be higher in bullets, Serbian. I don't know whether to call you Santa Claus or Serbian. Yesterday, Diva Karan won the Blitz tournament. We didn't play each other. And he lost a couple of games, but he was fast and practical. So here he kind of lost the tempo. You know, obviously I was planning on king h2. I mean, I'm not really sure, honestly, if there's any alternative. G4, I mean, would defend the pawn, but it's pretty weakening. But this is probably like a reasonable setup if he plays to put the queen on d7 rather than on c7. It's just that the queen... Well, I mean, actually, if you think about it, could he have played queen d7? No, because his bishop was on c8, you know? This h5 is aggressive, but I actually am not sure it's the best move. I'm not sure he can realistically sacrifice a piece on g4 after something like h4. I mean, anyway, maybe... I was thinking maybe bishop g5. Is that paranoia to play like bishop g5? For that matter, knight d5, bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5, or even bishop takes d5. No, that's nothing. Knight d5, bishop takes, pawn takes. I have like a very small advantage there, but I don't know if it's realistic. Getting that open c file doesn't really help me much. But how does one improve the position here for white? It's not so easy. I have to keep b5 contained. Maybe knight a4 is an idea. It looks like a cheap shot, actually. I think bishop g5 is probably playable, but yeah, bishop g5 if rook c5, bishop e3. Play this. Stopping h4, maybe menacing sometimes threats of playing bishop takes f6 in certain positions, but it's probably not the main thing. I'm stopping h4. It's kind of an artificial move, though. I'm just getting low on time. Yeah, I don't recommend working 12-hour shifts. That's not fun. One of my students has a job where he works like crazy shifts, all different hours and stuff. I can't really imagine that. I don't envy you, Serbian Santa Claus. Knight to d5. Can I restrain him on the queen side with like a4? I mean, it's an interesting idea. One of the features of this position is his knight is restricted. He doesn't have knight g4, knight d7, knight d7, knight c5. I played a4. It's kind of weakening, but it also stops b5 cold. Still not an easy position to make any progress for us. It's kind of routine developing move. I was honestly like hoping he would do something like knight h7, and then I'll put the bishop back on e3, where it's actually on a more active square. Actually active. Queen e8, this is... a very interesting move. Trying to exploit my queen position with knight d7, knight c5, or whatever, like I was talking about before. Pretty advanced play. I mean, a little passive, but you know, now I'm going to be forced to reconsider this pawn on b3. It's going to be c. Okay, maybe knight to d5, but his position remains extremely solid. I take with the pawn here. The problem is like meeting knight c5 is awkward, so I don't think I can really do that. Queen takes, and maybe we play that position. Bishop takes doesn't do much for my pawn. Black's so solid here. 1 minute left. Remarkable game by Black. This was my plan, to play with queen on f3. not to get in the way of the dark squared bishop and protect the pawn on b3. Look at this, b5, wow. Take a5. How is this guy only 2,000? I would think he'd be even stronger. But I've been saying this the whole blitz tournament. Wow, 96. All right. Rook takes c7. I can't allow knight takes g5. He did allow a powerful pass to a pawn, but it's yet to be protected. Now he has knight d4. The powerful outside pawn, I could actually do an exchange sacrifice. I was really worried about knight d4. The two bishops do a good job trying to help this pawn promote, but it's still not so easy. I can't play rook a1. He had to do that because of a7 threat. Not so easy to make progress here. Get the pawn through. I could play queen c4, e3, try to slowly improve the position. e3 just stopping bishop d4 ideas. My pawn is very close to promoting. I guess bishop b7. We really need like a second front. Black is very passive here. He's so fast, it's unbelievable. I think I'm just going to have to play like bishop b7. But how is this guy only 2,000? I mean, that's not really possible. Are we making progress of some kind? The speed of his moves is incredible. I mean, his rating should be far higher. I would imagine in Bullet he would be like interesting pawn sacrifice. I have a new plan. The lengths I had to go to try to win this game. Man, that was crazy. 61 moves. I don't know. He's very, very fast and seemingly extremely underrated. All right. We're going to go to the next challenge, I guess. Arsenal fan, did he get something to eat? Are you ready now? Then I'll take the subscribers and then Santa Claus. Angus? His Angus block. Arsenal fan. Agnes. The Agnes block. Carlson, yeah. The Slav defense. No, I think that Arsenal fan is inherently a solid player, so the English opening would be probably appropriate to your style. I know you were playing e4. Magnus is just too accurate, you know? I mean, it's ridiculous. He's always been like that. He's just so good technically. Aside from every other thing, I mean, it's just anytime you get into like a technical endgame, the guy plays like God. It's impossible, you know. You got to take him out some other way. I mean, Hikaru has to take him out tactically, like in complicated middle games. I mean, you'd have to get some insane complications going and try to trick him somehow. It looked like the games that Carlsen won were kind of technical positions for the most part. Oh, I forgot that it's unusual openings again. God damn. People are playing the Slav. Here we go again. That was such a long game that I got distracted again, and I thought that it was a normal stream. Alright, we'll get there eventually. Well, forget about the theme for the day. It's not important anyway. Why do we have themes? 95. This is an unusual line. By today's standards, it was actually fairly popular back in the 90s when the a6 Slav started getting played, but this is not an a6 Slav. Actually, bishop g4 is just strange. I was thinking it was an a6 Slav. I'm a little out of it. Okay, here we just have a space advantage. I think that white is better. There are probably other ways to play the position. I got distracted again talking about Magnus and excuses. But actually the first game was so long, it was like 60 moves, I completely forgot that I forgot to play unusual openings today. I was just trying to win the game so hard that I missed the point of the theme of the day. think I have some cold coming on or something. Alright, e5. Black very boxed in here. You don't need a commentator to tell you that. We should have good attacking chances on the king side. Playing for f5, f4, f5, theoretically. But I don't know if I want to play f4 just yet. Still, it would reinforce my center. I guess it's not a bad move. Am I asking for too much, though? Your knight is boxed in, not your light-scored bishop. It's probably better. Still, I don't envy black here. Could play something weird like queen g4, like a winnower. Interesting move. Somewhat artificial, though. C takes d5 just gives his knight a good square. There's no way I'm doing that. f4. If he ever tries to undermine my pawn on e5, f4 would overprotect it, but it also blocks my bishop on c1. I mean, my plan would be to castle kingside and try to play f4, f5, just maintain a strong space advantage. Thematic f4, but it has its reservations. What is this? Sacking a pawn. Wow. All right. He didn't want to be boxed in anymore. Pretty extreme to play c5 there. It wasn't a mouse slip, right? I mean, you pre-move that. But I wasn't expecting anything that radical. You know, I think that black should just play safely. Maybe knight a6 or something like that. Do I really want to take on a6 with my bishop? I don't know. If this was a mouse slip or something, let me know and I'll give you a take back. But it was pre-moved. Alright. Ananas, good morning. Thanks for subscribing, guys. I've got to remember before the game starts that we're supposed to be playing unusual openings today. This is two boring openings so far. The Slav and the English. Okay, Arsenal fan is just speculating with a pawn sacrifice here. My assumption is queen takes d4, bishop c5, but then where do I put my queen? I guess the most important question. Queen d3. I mean, meanwhile, his kingside is like melting down. I guess I don't really have a choice. I could take on e6. Come to think of it. Having thought about this for a while, my final conclusion was to go to d3. It does interfere with my bishop, though. This is blocked. It's a slight problem. He played the obvious queen b6, but it's a good question now. I'm strongly tempted to play knight e4. That was my initial plan. But it really doesn't contribute anything to my development. I mean, maybe it's better just to play like bishop e2 and let him check me. If he checks me, kind of like BFD, I can control the white squares, put my king on g2. This wasn't the original plan, and it's always dangerous whenever I go into positions and start changing my plan midstream. This is how I lost a game 2 years ago. I just saw an attractive looking move and reached out and played it in one game, and I was like, oh my god, I just totally miscalculated. It's generally good to stick with the plan when you have a prepared plan. But knight e4 here, we seriously have to consider this. Just that bishop d2, pawn takes d5, pawn takes d5, queen takes d5. I ought to seriously consider even d6, actually. There are also slower moves like a3, rook f1. I mean, this is absolutely not sound for black, but it does pose some practical problems. I'm sure the computer is like white is better by a massive amount here, but that's a computer, you know, with a lot of processing power. It's not so easy if you're not a computer. Knight e4 feels like it neglects development. How about knight a4? There's a check on b4 forcing me to go back at the minimum. d6 closing the position is interesting. But this is more tricky than I envisioned. Queen b5. Trading queens would really make me feel better about the situation. If bishop f2 check, king f1. He played this without too much thought. But now he... What am I trying to say? Okay, now queen d4, queen c4, queen b6, knight a4. Maybe I can trap his bishop in a sense. I'm safe on the white squares. Well, I'm also... Yeah, queen d4 is kind of critical. I'm not interested in taking on b7, you know. My sense of danger is too aware for that. Plus, we have material advantage already. There's no reason to take additional risks in grabbing material and getting mated or something. Although he doesn't have that much development himself. We got a nice game anyway. Catalan is not allowed ananas. It is unusual openings today. That's pleasant. So pawn takes pawn. Alright, we should be good to go. He's got to save his bishop, and we take the pawn here. We've got an extra pawn. It's a minor inconvenience with the king. Bishop d4, bishop e3, bishop takes b2, rook b1. Looks okay. We're basically a pawn up. Also some greedy lines, but he's probably wise to develop. That is too powerful a piece to leave on the board. I think you should consider taking with the pawn as well. A little bit of compensation in development terms. You know, obviously f6 is an idea. Here, f6 is met by bishop c4. This move is not really a developing move. Bishop c5. Speaking of non-developing moves. KG practical play by black. But I was talking about how Arslan is a solid player, and he went and played c5. I mean, that's not a solid move. So guys, don't let me forget to play an unusual opening. in the next game. These two bishops are looking awfully good. But now he's invading at c2. Maybe I give the pawn up here to play with two knights against two bishops. I don't mind that. I guess I could play a3. No. It's a very good ending for white with two bishops and a very strong king. I guess he's in trouble. Maybe there's no move for black here. King e7, not the most fortunate move. He has a check. If I take, oh no, he has a check on c2. Oh, that's so annoying. So I could just take the pawn. What else? We should be winning. It's just a matter of time. That was his only move. f5, literally. Descending is just too strong. But I mean, even without the extra pawn, it was highly unpleasant for him. Alright, now I'm taking. You probably should have played king b5 there. King b5 would have been problematic. A little bit more problematic. Now he has this cheapo. Knight d7. You should play it out, probably. But I was curious about the opening. Next game will be unusual opening. I promise I remember. Hungarian game. Some IM tournament in 2010. Or Hungarian Team Championship. I don't know. This is actually the actual game, but David Horvath, David here exchanged on d5. I don't understand this move. I mean, why are we giving black a good square for his knight on c6? That doesn't make any sense. I considered queen g4, but maybe the computer suggestion of bishop e3 is a good move securing my center. Played f4. But c5 is kind of crazy. I mean, it's a thematic idea, you know, it's not... You could take back on e5 here. This was hard to decide where to put my queen. The engine actually likes queen e4. I was thinking about that for my knight, but in retrospect, I never ended up putting my knight on e4 because I needed it to guard the diagonal a5, e1, and it just takes too much time. So maybe in retrospect, if you think about it, it would have been better to put my queen on e4, not block my bishop, allow it to come out to d3, and like put my king on e2. This setup makes a lot more sense. This was awkward what I did. Just trading queens was like a safe approach by me. All right, let's go on, guys. A little too speculative, Arsenal fan, but fun. All right, we're gonna play something different here against Ananas. You're eating my breakfast. Now I'm annoyed. All right, Arsenal fan. I'm sorry, but I thought you got in the challenge list, so I waited like a few minutes and I thought we'd take your challenge. Sorry about that, to annoy you. But you could have just like aborted the game, dude. It's really no problem. If you want to at the beginning, I would let you abort the game. It's not like you're just a random person. You're a subscriber here, so if you're not ready, you're not ready. Let me know. E4, E6. What are we going to play for unusual openings? Ananas. It's not easy to do that against the French. Yeah, you could just abort the game. When you like moved quickly, I thought, okay, it's cool. I have a weird coffee house system that I play against the French sometimes. We'll see how it works against Ananas. Kind of unsound. This bishop d3. It's basically like playing the Kopek system against the French. Yeah, you don't like losing, I know. But bishop g4 is not really a reliable move. On move 4 there. Your queen b6 suggestion is probably better than that. I just told you earlier that I didn't like queen b6 against e3. But I suppose that if you play queen b6 against that position, I mean, that's probably playable. Ananas just takes on e4, forcing me to play like normal chess. But I refuse. The idea here was to play something unusual. I'm not going to move my d-pawn and just play something creative. Okay, castles. Although he's going to take and play like knight to c5. The alternative is like queen e2. Against queen e2, I was wondering if black can try something funky like knight d5. And I think he can, actually. Queen e2, knight d5 looks pretty awkward for me. He's like pre-moving. Why are you pre-moving? There's plenty of time. Alright. I don't know, Ananas never used to play this fast. He's like... We don't have much here, obviously. But it's a little hard to find something unusual against the French. So b3, c3. I mean, c3 makes some sense now. I can really do it like a Kopek system. You know, maybe black should play c5 at first chance there. I don't want to have a backward pawn. Hey, Soltigo. I missed my, I love it when you're angry, Arsenal fan. If you don't like people flagging you, probably like bullet is not the way to go. If you don't like getting flagged down a queen, you know, you probably don't want to be playing bullet, because that's what the game is basically all about, like flagging people down a queen. That's why I don't play bullet. Alright, rook c8. Soltigo, thanks for joining us. Please only accept my challenge if there are no other challenges. Okay, Soltigo. How you feeling today? Next challenge will be Santa Claus and Supreme 5. This should be fully okay for black. Of course, c5, and I don't know what to do. Like bishop g5 just trades pieces. Probably loses material to play bishop g5 here. just absolutely equalizing. What would Kuprajcik do? Knight g5 looks interesting. Trying for some kind of complications and like avoiding exchanges. I mean, I really want to avoid exchanges. Any kind of routine move will just... Yeah, maybe I'm actually threatening knight takes e6 here. Wow, the $1 million question. He just... begging me to sacrifice on e6. He has bishop takes f3 there. That probably destroys it. Maybe not completely. I'd have to take back with the pawn, though. Unfortunately. Knight takes e6, bishop takes f3, g takes f3. Pawn takes e6. Queen takes e6 check. Rook f7, and then bishop b3. Winning back in exchange and threatening queen takes e7. This might actually work. But at the end of the day, like, my pawn structure is getting all shredded. What if he just takes and moves his king and I take on e7, and then he like trades queens and takes on c3? I'll have a rook on the 7th, 2 bishops versus 2 knights, but my pawn structure will be like isolated, doubled isolated. If I go the other way with knight takes d4, we retain some attacking chances. I mean, it feels like it's kind of overrated, this sacrifice on e6. Wasted all my time, I've got nothing now. I think it was playable to do knight takes e6, but my gut instinct told me that I'm allowing a lot of complications without much time left, and I didn't see anything really good. It looked like it was probably like equal. Black had okay resources there. You added Mubat to your channel. Important stuff, man. Knight takes d4. After bishop e3, I have queen e7. I know. But that wasn't the main point. I mean, I think take. Knight takes e6 anyway. I don't have time to talk about it. We'll look at it after the game. The sacrifice. My instincts were based on semi-calculation and semi-intuition that it wasn't quite enough for white to have an advantage. We'll see if I was right or not. This optically looks good. Knight c5, knight f5, pawn takes f5, queen takes e7, queen d5. Concerns me. The e5 looks crazy. I mean, e5 really, it looks kind of crazy, like letting me in there. I could even play knight e6, but that looks kind of unclear. This looks like a Lopez now. It's the Lopez. Wow. The white pieces almost have to be promising an attack here. Knight takes g7. Alright, let's remain calm. Try to play some sensible moves. I'm just going to go back. Now maybe we've got some sacrifice on h6. I don't know. I don't trust black's king side 100%. It's a very strange Will Paschall. He's creating a weakness in his king side with e5 and h6 as well. Double piece sacrifice. But that is preparing defense. Bishop takes h6, pawn takes, knight takes h6, check. It's all very nice. So someone loses an eye. This has got to be something for me, but where is it? Where is it? I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. Just choosing moves at random is usually a bad policy. It's basically what I did here with rook d1. I don't know. I'm just really low on time. He defended successfully, temporarily, and maybe forever. Gotta go back. I've got to watch this counter threats for black. Black's fine here, more or less. I think. Let's keep him off of g4. Black should have a pretty decent position. It's fundamentally okay. Good bishop on the long diagonal. Strong center pawn. I failed to find anything concrete. Several occasions I had very promising looking sacrificial ideas, but I couldn't put anything together. I just started burning on my time and came up empty. I didn't see anything. There were speculative sacrifices. I could sack a piece for two pawns, and then his king is a little bit open, but I didn't see, you know, a mate or anything close to a mate. So really I didn't want to just go out on a total tangent. Well played game by black, very solid. Now I might even be worse. Okay, I'm angry now, like Arsenal fan. Angry at myself. For some reason, I didn't think, you know, he would take on f3. Maybe he won't. We have chances on the queen side in this ending. This knight doesn't have any good squares to go to. I'm threatening a4. It's possible that white is slightly better in this ending. He found a square for his knight after all. Damn it. He stopped my whole plan. But not entirely. Well, b4. Damn, does that work? I'm just gonna hold on the material like I'm a greedy bastard. But it's still not so easy. I've got b6. Knight d4. Oh, you saw it. Good move. Okay. Right. Knight f4. Wow. All right. This looks legitimately very difficult to win, but we are going to try to trade a set of rooks here, obviously. The fact of the matter is his knight may be so strong that this is like unwinnable for me. Most likely that's the case. My extra pawn is just not enough. Oh, he's actually taking on f3, then I have rook b1. He can't take this pawn. Too dangerous. What? Clearly not listening to the stream. But I guess he's going to prove me wrong here. Yeah, it's possible to play this. Yeah, either way. I had rook b6. I don't know if that was a good move. But I'm probably not winning this now. This is still... I don't know if I ever was winning, you know, to be honest. The knight's pretty strong there. It's almost like he's playing for a win or something. But I think he needs to wake up and be careful here. Because he could lose now. I mean, he's probably losing for black now. I think he was like acting like he was playing for a win. When he started to play, like, he got carried away, basically. Like, you're drawing and then you're like losing. I mean, that was weird. All right. I mean, I don't think I was ever winning till you did like e5. The engine says I'm better there, but okay, maybe here is where you started to get crazy with king f6. I mean, it just, that's nutty. You know, you got to go back and try to stop the pawn. Maybe it's not that easy, but it should be kind of holdable. Anyways, all right. Crazy game. All right, no more boring openings. We're going to play Santa Claus. Good game, though. I want to look at that opening once more, but after this game with Santa Claus, I forgot to look at the sacrifices in the opening. I want to check it out. Against Santa Claus, let's play b3. Yeah, move knight takes e5. He can't recapture as he will lose a piece. Knight takes h5. You mean h6? b3 f5. Why not? b3 against the Dutch. What would Jabavo do? Alright, this is a fast game. I've got to be not wasting too much time here. Play a double fianchetto. I mean, this will probably turn into some kind of anti-Stonewall or Reti opening. Dutch-ish. It's Dutch-ish. d6, I assume, and then playing for e5. I've got to play d4. If d6, d4. He didn't do it. Yeah, that's an ugly structure. Wow. Now c4, d4. If c4, d4, I guess we go e3 instead. Play a kind of fluid formation with delayed c4 or e4. I mean, c4 here has to be good. Just takes. Alright, Santa Claus is just making stuff up here. I mean, this looks kind of dubious for black. 94, wow. I wouldn't classify that as a developing move. Queen c2. Queen c2 just encourages him to get more weird with knight b4. But if I play queen b3 instead, he's going knight c5. Huh. I guess queen e2. I could just play d3. d3, knight c5, knight d4, and then like knight b4. d3, knight c5, d4. Right. Whatever. This looks good. He's already like a minute ahead of me. You had a very interesting move there, bishop f6, I thought. But white should be better now. Now it's very similar to the game I had with Mary Lou yesterday. It's like a good Catalan for white. I think the bishop f6 would have posed me some serious problems. So Serbian Santa Claus, he's in the category of playing a little too fast at the detriment of his position, or to the detriment of his position. Slow it down just a little bit to find slightly better moves, and probably, you know, your results will improve. I would just, you know, I think Santa Claus was close to finding some good ideas there, but he went a little too fast. Now he's got like serious positional disadvantages here. I mean, no center. The bishop on c8 is bad. You had steak yesterday. Is that good for your stomach? Are you allowed to eat harsh foods like that, Soltigo? Alright, queen takes d2. d5, going with a full centro. d5 is not the most fluid move. I want to get a little better coordinated. Taking squares away from him. I didn't see anything. d5 right away. Now he's got a square for his queen. We were talking about this in last night's stream during the tournament. Maybe now black's kind of okay. I still would. I mean, white is obviously better, but I have d5, but he's just trading pieces on those in that line. Rook b1 makes him weaken his queen side a bit. But I'm not sure it's that beneficial. Well, you can play rook b8 even. There you go. Say it isn't so. Alright, I don't know. I do allow him some exchanges here, but my space advantage is pretty significant, and I need to do something because the time is short, and d5 is fairly forcing. Take, 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 and he drops a c pawn. That's like the main variation, where I want to snack on that pawn on c7. He's probably considering other alternatives. Steak in the morning. Oh yeah, we talked about this before. I said I love Las Vegas because of the buffets and steak and egg breakfast. It's like a Texas West Coast, like Texas, Las Vegas steer country. Definitely the steak with breakfast is awesome, man. You're making me hungry. I had eggs with no steak today, and I feel like I'm missing something now. Oh, he just blundered an exchange. Just making triple sure. He went from the frying pan into the proverbial fire. He probably saw this and then forgot about it. That's what I do all the time. You know, like you see a tactic and then you're thinking about something else and then just totally forget about it. Forget about it. Knight d4. Do I want to trade pieces? He's got a pretty solid blockade here if I'm exchanging. It gets more complicated if I play knight d4, knight c4. But I still like my position. It is a strong knight, but his knight is pretty strong too. It would be easier to trade, but I didn't see an easy breakthrough. Maybe d6. Maybe I had d6 there. Huh. Knight takes, bishop takes d6, and then c6 would be forced. Because if he takes on d6, I just have rook takes b7 with the winning ending. Maybe d6, c6. His e5 bishop would be hanging, and I have moves like queen a5. It has to be winning for white. So I think this move was kind of a slightly risky move to not trade pieces when I could. Up the exchange here. Guys, tomorrow night is our subscriber stream. What is up with queen a5? That looks pretty random. You will go back to d6 and like it. Yeah, he's totally lost here. Pretty much everything is falling apart. F5, c7. All of my pieces are working, and okay, he just blundered an exchange. So if he doesn't do that knight e5, he was going to do knight d8 or something weird. It almost looks like he has to do this. But that loses the exchange too. No, he has to exchange bishops first and lose the pawn. I guess there's nothing else. That's all there is to it. There really was no other option. f4. f4 doesn't look real healthy for my... Oh, he has rook c8 here. That's the trap, the one move cheapo. Oh man, trap, trappy trapper. All right, I'm not interested. 56 seconds. Back to the blockade. Hold on. Eventually I'm going to win something. But taking out his bishop is probably a good place to start. Oh no. Why didn't I play queen c5? I'm so dumb. This is where Santa Claus really starts to get strong. You put him in one of these positions where he's low on time. This is his like bread and butter. He loves to be down material in a lost position without a lot of time left. What am I doing? How come he plays so much better when he has like a lost position and no time? This was a bad exchange though. Just, yeah, he played badly now. Those long hours at work. That has to be to blame. But, I mean, I think you were putting up some resistance there even at the end. I want to go back to the last game and see that piece sacrifice position against Mr. Ananas after the opening. Here I played this as best move according to the engine. Knight g5? No. Come on, knight takes f6. What is that? So this is the key moment where I can do the sacrifice on e6. At first it was like, yeah, knight takes e6, then it changed its mind. I thought forever here and played knight takes d4. This was bishop takes f3, g takes f3, pawn takes e6, queen takes e6 check, and now rook f7 or king h8. Apparently this just loses. And that was what Ananas was pointing out. But anyway, it's irrelevant. You play here. I talked about this kind of position. You know, I just this was nothing. So I did the right thing. I didn't like e5 though by black, and now knight f5. But here I failed to find something. After h6, it's so sad. I mean, it seems like there should be some kind of sacrificial attack. That's the biggest my advantage got against Ananas, like 1.7, 1.1. Alright, in reality it's like one pawn. This 1.7 was just the computer not having enough time to evaluate the position, but like, what do you do here? I played knight f3, which is best move according to the engine. Well, actually at the end there, Santa Claus, you could have even played c5. So where is my sacrifice here? Rook e8, and then here. This is what I was looking at. Bishop takes h6, pawn takes, knight takes, king g7, or king f8 for that matter. But actually, I mean, obviously it looks dangerous for black, but he is a piece up. And I was down to like a minute and a half here. Damn, apparently I can play knight takes f7 in this position. That's just evil. Knight takes f7, king takes f7, knight g5 check, king... Yeah. He can't take... Because of king g8, bishop d5 check, and I've got these ideas of coming here. Well, his queen is trapped. That's awesome. Smothered queen. Alright, guys. But anyway, I should have played the sacrifice. It was the best practical try. I'm going to play the rest of these challenges. We've got another hour left. Last move you should recapture with a knight, not the bishop. Absolutely Serbian Santa Claus. I mean, I kind of messed around toward the end there in time pressure, not finding the right plan. Welcome everyone. Tomorrow night we have our subscriber stream. I've got to play unusual openings today. So I'm going to try the Dutch. Sometimes I play the Dutch, not in tournaments though. I've never actually, as far as I can recall, I've never actually played the Dutch in a tournament game. It's not really an unusual opening per se, but for me it is. There was this place where I got a car years ago, and their whole like marketing thing was like new to you. Like the car wasn't new, but it was new to you, you know. And this is not new, but it's new to me. It's not unusual, but it's unusual for me, the Dutch defense. So c4, I like the Leningrad. I know all followers of Simon Williams will be sort of brainwashed into thinking that like the, you know, classical Dutch is a good line. I mean, maybe it's okay, but I think that most Dutch experts would argue that the Leningrad Dutch is actually black's best. Bishop g5 is quite a rare move. I guess I'm just supposed to play knight e4 here. It's kind of a tempo. But there might be some traps. Bishop f4, h4, just leave the bishop there. There are different ways for white to play this. But I feel like I got the better part of a free move there with knight e4. Now c5, bishop e5, that kind of thing could be annoying. I mean, even so, maybe I just play like rook g8, you know? It looks a little extreme. Extreme Dutch. So the c5 is more aggressive, but also riskier. I guess bishop g7 is okay. I'm gonna play bishop g7, but I wanted to get control of e5 first. Do I like the king's gambit? Yeah, I like the king's gambit. I mean, I think that it's a playable opening. I think though it probably, if you want to be a purist about it, it probably like loses white's advantage on the first move. But I mean, that's neither here nor there really, because we're not computers, right? So now the problem is, what do we do? I guess I'm drawn to taking on c3, but it's not essential. Supreme 5. Where did we play him? 1-7 + 2. I forgot about that. Recently, I think. He's trying to outstrip me in development by trading off my only developed piece. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Though I could let him take on e4. That's another possibility. I mean, maybe bishop g7, take. Knight g5 is just good for me. Knight c6. Yeah, let's try it. I'm not convinced that this this exchange on e4 is even good for white, but I waste a lot of time deciding. take knight g5 c5. I like take knight g5. It seems like his critical try. Now I'm just going to play h6 here. But maybe this isn't that clear either. Take knight d2, bishop takes d4. This looks like something that he's probably played before, obviously. But now he might be close to threatening it for real. The proverbial, you know. I'm going to take now. And it's a Nimzo Indian. As far as I'm concerned. It's a very strange kind of Nimzo Indian, but I've been known to preserve my Nimzo Indian bishop. We have a slightly better structure. It's basically the London system against the Nimzo Indian. I also play the Jinji Indian, which involves playing the modern defense and playing bishop takes c3. It looks like that, except I don't have like a missing bishop on g7. So, Kurt, you have to go. Waiting to play for the first time. Oh, best of luck. All right. Arsenal fans, Saltika sent best of luck, Kurt, and have fun. I thought he was like leaving or something. You know, I was like, yeah. Structurally better for black. It's almost always right to keep the tension. This is something that I constantly talk about. So it's probably a serious mistake to take on e5 there. Now he has this double Isolani structure, which is really bad. So he should have just played like bishop h2 and or bishop, unless I missed something, and or bishop g3. Okay, it's still not that easy, but this should be good for black. I mean, his structure is just destroyed. This is absolutely catastrophic. However, I have to keep my e5 pawn protected, and his bishop's like targeting the c7 guy too, so I have to be patient here. Bishop e6. But it's very hard for white to improve his position. You know, what's he going to do? Knight d2 maybe? Then he takes pressure off of e5. I'm actually not that worried about the pawn on c7. I mean, even if I were to drop this later on, he'll have massive problems along the c file. But I can't allow a knight to go to d4. So I'm imagining this is going to be a long process. Probably trade the rooks and win a minor piece endgame would be my best bet that I can think of. Rook b1 is a good idea, but it might have a tactical problem with f4. I'm really low on time. I'm not sure though. I mean, he loses an exchange here, but he might get a pawn or two for it. So maybe it's not that bad for white. I didn't even calculate rook takes b7. Fortunately, I have bishop d7 on rook. Rook takes b7, rook takes c7 check, which is really just a miracle. I totally overlooked. Rook takes c7 hits both knight and bishop on g7. But here I guess we're in good shape. We've got the e4, another lucky tactic. Okay, he can play king takes b1. He had to play king takes b1. He just didn't really calculate. You know, some people get kind of nervous when they play on the stream because other people are watching, you know. I'm not like an awe-inspiring player. I'm an average international master, but But just the fact of playing in front of other people, I think, you know, a lot of the opponents get nervous. It's like stage fright or whatever. Here he just needs to take more time. I mean, if king takes, it may not be that easy for me. I think I'm winning, but yeah, it's still probably winning. I mean, this is very strong. I'm going to play e4 and rook on the 7. He sacked a whole rook. But he's got scary looking bishops. I have to be thoughtful here. 55 seconds as well. Not that easy. Going for c6, and if bishop d5, c6. Okay, I'm up a rook. I should be winning. That's actually pretty crushing. King c1 is like his only move. And I can trade pieces with knight d2 at the very least. You know, here we're basically up a whole rook. Triple pawns. If f5, rook f8. The Dutch lives. Now it's not so easy. But I'm going to get that G pawn. That's decisive. Yep. Oh no. What have I done? Alright, I managed to make this a little more complicated than it needed to be. Oh my god. Fortunately, we're up a whole rook. Bishop f4 check or f4 check. I think I'm still winning. He's got bishop e5 there as well. Do not play like me. Good God. I think he missed the best there. Fortunately. If bishop e5, it would have been really complicated. Something like bishop e5. Nice technique, me. Almost screwing up a rook up position. Man, that is horrifying. I missed f5 or something. Maybe I was always winning, but I mean, it's really touch and go here after that. So what do? He plays king d3, king e6, king e4. And I simply have rook f8, but I'm an idiot and played this because I didn't see f5, rook e8 check, king f4. This is actually screwing up the game completely. I go from +5 to like barely better. Rook check and then bishop f8 apparently. That's hard to find. Now, I have a conflict in analysis here. Maybe I am winning. The computer couldn't see far enough. I thought bishop e5 for sure. This was the key chance. But the engine's finding something for me. Rook e8, f4. King g4, f3 check. king back to h5. I probably would have played king g3. King g3. King d5. My God. I apparently have this, which is just a miracle. Take here. With f6. That is insane. f6, king f5, only move. Oh my God. I never would have found that. I mean, I just left myself totally having to find like computer moves in a sequence of like 6 moves to win that position. And I'm even lucky that he wasn't winning or drawing there. Alright. Troll on a roll, chess 960. This is not an unusual opening. It's not an opening at all. What's up, man? You're late today. You must have a really bad hangover. A great video series of William. What is that? What are you guys talking about? A great video series by me? Alright guys, sorry to wait so long here on the first move. Developing my queen. Well, it controls the center. It lets my bishop on d1 out. Hi. What's up, troll? You're late today. You're never late. I wasn't sure what video series you're talking about. Late is better than never. Early is on time is late, and late is inexcusable. c4, c5. The symmetrical English. Pasted something wrong. Just ignore that last paste. Okay guys, today I'm not leaving early, but I have to leave right on time. The stream is scheduled to finish at 12:30, so I'm gonna stop the presses the minute we reach 12:30. Constructive move. I'm playing the English opening. I don't care what you call it. I always prefer the knight on c2 to the knight on b3 when I can get it. This knight, you know, is more into the center. No, I can't give you that. d5 is a strong move. I can't give you d4. Although maybe I could actually. Maybe I could break effectively with b4. Strong knight on d5, sir. And that's gonna be a problem, most likely. Okay, now he's gonna clamp down. It's like playing Botvinnik. Yeah, maybe I should have seriously just played what? Though there is no good move. I mean, there is no good move here. b3. That's stupid. We ought to develop our pieces. I'm seriously sitting here thinking about what? Knight f4. I was worried about knight f4. I mean, that's ridiculous. An absolutely ridiculous and fully playable move. Knight f4, I don't know. Knight f4, g3. It just looks stupid. Oh my god. Bishop a5 check. That's convenient. It's alright, man. We're just going to manually castle. No problem. Anyway, the f1 square was useful. I didn't see it, of course. Putting our king on g2 or f2, depending on the situation. Yeah, now a2 is an issue. I really want to trade pieces here. There I go, dropping a pawn again. I still feel like it's a Sicilian or something. Trouble thinking a long time here. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing to the stream on Twitch. Govin Kurt, I haven't been out on the ground today, but I saw a lot of snow on the roof. Well, not a lot. I mean, some. Any snow seems like a lot here in Budapest. So, who's next? The Man Who Sold the World, Siltigo, Govin Kurt. We'll probably get to play those three at least. Hopefully even another game beyond that. Oh, I hung my pawn again. But eventually we'll have to defend that pawn. Bishop b3 would be a pretty extreme weakening of my structure to try to exchange white squared bishops, I think. Bishop takes a2, rook a1, queen e6, b3 wins a piece. Knight c4 doesn't do anything. We have our little check too, you know, but not quite as effective as your version. In the meantime, I'd like to get my pieces out, but I don't have a great way to do it. h3, e5 is going to clamp down. Very nasty. f3 is kind of weakening too. What do we do? What do we do here? Can I have queen a4 check? As I said earlier, bishop b3 is interesting, but I mean, it's really devastating my pawn structure, you know, to do that. The e5 is coming. f4. Crazy move. I just don't think so. It's just extremely radically weakening. I'm not doing that. Where am I going to put my king, though? I can't castle. That sucks. I could get like a delayed f4. You know, one of the things that concerned me about playing f4 was if I later played g3, he would have queen h3 check. But this h3 starts to give me a little bit of... It seems very insignificant, but it gives me a little bit of white square control, and it'll evade any kind of queen h3 stuff. With my king here, maybe I can set up like f3, g4, king g2, or just g3, king g2. But I wanted to put my bishop on h2, so the king has to wait. Take care, Arsenal, man. Thank you for being childish. Bishop h2. I'm sure whoever you insulted today will forgive you. Knight e6. He didn't play e5. He's trying to reconnect. You know, I mean, I guess he's just going to play like bishop c7 after all, and then trade off his bad bishop, which is a conservative but reasonable way of playing the position. So I said e5 all along, but actually, you know, the way he's playing this isn't too bad. It's a safe continuation. Now my king is still a problem. But I do have bishop b3. For whatever it's worth. So he really erred on the side of caution, and I have too for the most part, but it seemed like once my king got put on f1, I've been kind of on the defensive. I mean, I didn't see bishop a5 check, and then I was like, well, I have to do it. Now the king is never happy here. Unless the queens are traded, then I would be happy. And I'm still behind in development. Feels like in English or something. I mean, I need a place to put my king, and the f4 square seems like an issue. So we can try to walk up here. Walk over to h2 maybe. But I guess black is better. Less weaknesses holistically. The e6 96 idea was kind of cool. Not that e5 was bad, but there's like zero risk in this. Troll usually just loses on time in balanced positions. That's why he has 0, 0, 0. Not very many of those were actually lost positions. Some. An extremely strong knight on d4, sir. That seems strange. I mean, maybe taking with the rook would be safer. But again, it's probably not a bad move. Queen check just helps him play e6. Knight c2 is disgusting. Annoying is this position, man. b4. I mean, I'm asking for trouble here if I start active operations with my king messed up on f1. I really hope I didn't allow some kind of tactic. He has queen e6, winning a pawn. Queen e6, knight takes. It doesn't actually win a pawn, but it may force a draw by repetition. Queen e6, knight takes d4, queen takes h3 check, rook g2, and if whatever. And this is super awkward. It's just a really unpleasant endgame for me. Maybe if I don't trade queens. So this is not really going to be pleasant no matter what I do, come to think of it. I just gave him a free move, a useful move. Now he wins a pawn. Or not. Maybe not so simple. King g2, queen takes a2, rook a1. Oh. I wasn't even paying attention to his real threat. I'm just clearly worse here. So you see how strong Troll can be. He says I'm dead. He won a pawn. Alright. I'm going to accept a draw. I mean, I'm down a pawn for nothing here. with less space. So good game, Troll. You were better the whole game after bishop a5 check, I guess. I think you had even better. I think you had even better. I didn't think this was that bad, but I missed the best way to play it. I guess h3 was bad. This was an interesting move. I mean, I definitely expected e5, and he played like knight e6. Good exchange of bishops for him. But I didn't think I would be in any real danger. This was excellent. King takes. Here I guess I went wrong. I don't know. I wanted to play like b4, but then I thought I'm not developed enough. So Troll has less center pawn loss. I have no inaccuracies, mistakes, or blunders. How is that possible? Alright. Man who sold the world. We've got Man who sold the world. We didn't play you before. He was just challenging me before, and then I lost the challenge, I guess. I have to play an unusual opening. Alright, almost forgot. That's alright, we have next move. I was going to play b3, dude. But you played g6 against my knight f3. Now what am I going to do? The concept today is unusual openings. And when I played knight f3, my only hope is to play like b4 on the second move. But now I can't do that. I mean, I can do it, but it's just stupid. I mean, this instance... Alright, let's try it. I don't trust this here, but we'll try it. Okay, now it will transpose. Dubov or somebody pretty strong was playing this recently, but it's not a new idea. Against the King's Indian or Grunfeld type of setups, the Romanian Grandmaster Nanu played this against me like 8 years ago. It's something similar to like Keith Arkel's Speckled Hen. You do knight f3, d4, and b4 against the King's Indian. How does that go again? Knight f3, g6, or knight f3, knight f6, d4, g6, b4. But Nanu did d4, knight f6, knight f3, g6, and he played knight on bd2. I was like, what are you doing? And then he transposed into this kind of thing. But some strong player played this recently. I think it was Dubov. It's very closely related to the Makaganov system of the Grunfeld. I lost a really horrible game to Walter Whitman of Austria. He just crushed me, like the only game the guy ever beat me. It was like the last game we played about 7 years ago. I just randomly chose this system for white, and the guy just absolutely bashed me to pieces. He got in some kind of e5, really timely, and then my whole position fell apart. Bishop g4 is sort of strange, but interesting. Playing chess, what, 10 months? Who's that? Oh, you've only been playing chess 10 months? Wow. Alright. Queen d6 looks artificial. He's developing the queen. Kind of exposed there. I've also played 1a3 in some games here on the Wednesday stream, and then transposed to setups like this with the move a3. But the move a3 has limited value. You know, it's not a very useful move. But if you check these sort of setups for white, you'll see quite a few strong players have actually played them in looking for new ideas. Knight takes e4, pawn takes e4, h3. I kind of like that. It seems dynamic. I really want to bring my knight back to d2 and put pressure on the e4 pawn. But now my bishops are monstrous. Well, at least one of them is. Maybe more important is the fact that the white center is very strong. Although we've compromised our king side a bit. You know, the massive center for white has to be advantageous. Still, he's quite solid. Not really sure where I'm supposed to put my king, but I would probably not choose to castle queenside. He's going to castle kingside, certainly, right? Maybe I have some direct threats in those kind of lines. He'll bring the knight over. Maybe I should play g5. This stops knight d7, knight f6, and freezes his king side. And now I have serious attacking chances with like queen g4, queen h4. So I think it was good. A good outside the box type of thing. He's very fast. What are his ratings like? No bullet. 1500 in blitz. And that's a fairly new account. So this is just a new account. Alright, it challenged me a little while back. I think I might need to play c4, but he's got e5 now. He's got e5 now with pretty good counterplay. I'm a bit worried about this. I guess I can play d5 on e5. The game is very complicated. And his time usage, you know, he's used like 1 minute to my 3 so far, and playing really solid. He's got a good bishop, no bad bishop, played very solidly. Queen d6 looks... In retrospect, it's not that unusual in the Grunfeld type of positions like this. It controls central squares, supports the e5 break, gets out of the way. He's 1700 in what, rapid, but barely enough games for me to accept the challenge. Really, I don't like to play people who have less than 100 games. c4, c5, black can resign. Maybe you're right. Well, I wouldn't resign. I mean, he has the queen going to e6, and that's kind of strange because it can hit all different points, like queen f5, queen b3, queen c4. Well, then I have d5. All right. So he has some technical problems here tactically. Such an alien looking position though. You know, I was even looking at crazy stuff like f4 last move. So queen e6, d5 wins. e5. e5 is interesting. Gives him a fallback square for the queen on e7. My intention was to play d5, but then he can try to blockade. Probably his best. Yeah, it definitely is his best, it looks like. Clearly he heard me. It's not completely out of the realm of possibility for him to castle queenside even so. So maybe c5 now and then d5. We go for this queenside. Powerful queenside avalanche. My original intention was to play d5, but then after like c5 it could get very blockaded. I thought this way is more fluid. Now queen e6, d5. That's going to kill him with the queenside majority. Our bishops are, you know, ideal for double fianchetto, obviously. But we have a strong position. The only thing he did wrong was this funky stuff with, you know, bishop g4 and I mean, knight e4, h3 in the opening. And I played h3 here. I guess white just has an advantage. Okay, well. Oh, we're just winning by force. Incidentally, I just realized, I'm sure someone is spoiling it, but I just realized that I have bishop h3. Didn't see it till now. He has queen e4, but we're just up a piece there. Two bishops are too strong. Alright, I'm going to play at least 2 more games, guys. Sleman lost my game at the weekly tournament at the local club. Sorry to hear that. I've got a game on Sunday, back to the Hungarian Team Championship. Someone I should beat, like a weaker FIDE Master or weaker IM. I've had trouble putting away 1 or 2 of these guys. I have a number of draws against low-rated players recently. Which I'm not really thrilled about. A couple of FIDE Masters and weakish IM, so I should have really had good chances to win against. I allowed some draws. So I've got to put this guy away on Sunday. I'm not certain who I'm going to play, though. There's no guarantee. They could, you know, have one player show up or not show up. If it's the guy that I'm hoping to play, I beat him the last time, and he's pretty weak, really. But I can't keep allowing people who are like 20, 2290, 2320 to draw every game. I'll eventually lose all my rating points. I've really got to beat the guys who are like high 22s, low 2300s. Alright, I mean, this is obviously a winning position. We're up a piece. Piece. Queenside is just over. I stopped rook h5. I didn't want to see that. Not allowing any counterplay, even when we're absolutely winning, is a good habit to get into. Now he's got like e4 sometimes. Probably not, though. Obviously, trading rooks. It's absolutely winning for me. So, Simul on Sunday, guys, 6:30 p.m. I should be able to start on time. My game is... My Hungarian Team Championship game is, you know, in the morning, and I don't have to travel or anything, so it shouldn't be a question that the Simul can start on time this week. Watch the H-pawn, his only hope for counterplay. Alright, David Bowie is dead. Literally. Guvin is up next, 7+3. We've got, actually I was really just devastated when David died. Alright. We're playing Guven for the first time. He's been watching the stream. I've got to remember to play unusual openings. So what didn't I play today? We played a b3 type of setup. I tried to play e4. Let's see what he does against e4 and try to play something cool there. Sorry to hear. David Bowie's been dead for a while now. It's only been like over a year. Yellow Dragoon, what's up? Okay, yesterday I faced the Mora Gambit, but I don't play the Mora Gambit. I hate the Mora Gambit. The Mora Gambit is the enemy. We don't want to play that. Other fun stuff we can play with white against the Sicilian. Like what? Some kind of g3 based setup. Those are interesting. Grob is the Russian sword for coffin. So the Grob attack sounds weird. What's the deal with the guy Grob, by the way? Where was his origin? I'm not even sure. Grob. We gotta say it like, was he Russian? I never even knew, like, where Grob... I mean, Grob wasn't like a really strong player. It was just a probably relatively average master. Strong master, but not especially. Okay, now we're gonna transpose to a King's Indian attack. It's not the Grob, it's the G-Rob. It's a hip-hop chess opening. G-Rob. Transferring to a King's Indian attack, maybe. That's not very creative. I should have played Knight A3 on move 2. That would have been more fun. But it may not be too late for Knight A3. It is right now, though. I can't be doing that here. This is interesting. Take, Knight F3, Queen E7 check. That's kind of awkward. It's too late for D3. Well, if we do D3, we have to take back with the pawn. I mean, with the bishop on E4, which is probably okay. You can try to play like that if you want to. Probably not our best move though. I guess theoretically I should play like Knight C3 or something in this position. Going into a reversed King's Indian. Okay, whatever. I'm not taking back with the pawn. I'm going to give him a tempo with Knight F6 and go back to G2. Keep my bishop open and not allow a trade of queens. This is kind of a line sometimes you see people play like with the black pieces, I guess. Go easy on me. Grabowski. Yeah. Grabowski. G-Rob. Right, Grabowski's very common. It's more like a Polish name, no? I assumed it was Polish, but who cares? Bishop G2. But seriously, where was this guy Grob from anyway? G-Rob. I never really did a Wikipedia search for the Grob. The Grob is not an opening I have a lot of respect for. You won't catch me playing G4 here. I don't like G4. I like playing against the Grob. The Polish opening is okay. I like B4. But the G4 weakens the king side. We'll leave that to like... Who plays the Grob anyway? I don't know. Even like Jabava and Richard Rapport won't go that far. I don't think. Okay, this is nothing more than like a standard kind of King's Indian attack, except black has traded the d-pawn for the e-pawn, which actually, you know, that should favor him, essentially. I've made an exchange on d5. You know, so the structure favors black a little bit. It's a concession that I've made, essentially. However, if it's not possible for him to play e5, I mean, maybe we've got enough activity and stuff. b6 knight e5 loses the exchange for black here, which is very important. He would like to play. He'd like to play b6 and counter my fianchetto. So it's basically a King's Indian reversed. Rook e8 is non-confrontational, I should say. Non-conflicting. It's a non-conflicting move. But it doesn't further his development concretely, although maybe he can play like bishop f8 and e5. I mean, I don't know what to do. Knight a3, knight a3, knight d2. It probably doesn't make a lot of difference. I'm heading for c4 anyway. It's just a King's Indian where he's played rook e1. That's usually normal when you have pawn on e5. Here it might help you play pawn e5, but I'm pretty much doing everything I can to stop that. The other possibility is playing like c3, but it will be dangerous for me strategically because of the backward pawn on d3. Chess teacher online. Grab was a Swiss I am. Thank you for researching that. So, from the French side or the German side or the Italian side? All right. Queen b6. Yeah, obviously you're giving me this with tempo. Are you going to put the queen on a6 or what here? Queen back to c7 is bad now, I guess, because of bishop f4. He could have played queen c7, but that would have also run into bishop f4. Now it's particularly strong. Bishop f4, and then he's going to have to go home, probably. So I don't really achieve anything, but I knock his queen out to a less good square. Queen d7 is, it would be great if he could play b6, but he doesn't have that. Now my bishop is going to have to return back to d2, but at least I've achieved something by driving his queen back to a bad square. Knight e5. I mean, this is coming. You could just bank on it. What would Nepomniachtchi do? He likes to play the King's Indian attack sometimes. Most good players. A4, just securing my knight, is kind of a commitment. Let's do this. You decide now. It's your turn. I'm just preempting you with bishop d2, and now black has to decide what to do. Yeah, he... I want to say blundered. Is it too strong a word with b5? Yeah, it's not too strong a word. I have knight e5. But which knight to e5? Any knight to e5. So we're just busting the long diagonal. Was the other knight as good? On the other knight, you know, he probably just sacks the exchange. I guess I'll do the same thing here. Knight takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop a6, something like that. Did I have better? Was the other knight better? Would it make a difference? Not really. Knight takes e5, bishop takes a8 is possible. Then there's knight takes c4. Okay guys, we have time for at least one more game. I think just one more game today. I've got lots of challenges, but I can't possibly play any more than one. Knight fe5, knight takes e5, bishop takes a8, b takes c4. But then I have rook takes e5. I'm up the exchange for something, you know. Knight takes e5, knight d5, c4 is another variation. I mean, I think that either way I'm winning, to be perfectly frank. This is less complicated. like bishop a6 or bishop d7. Maybe he just didn't see knight c6. He thought he was saving the exchange, but he's losing it anyway. So the best chance is to sack for my white squared bishop. You know, my king is a little bit open. Bishop d7 or bishop a6. Bishop takes a8, queen takes a8, and then I'll probably play, well, actually, I don't know what I'll play. I mean, you've got a little bit of compensation because my white squared bishop leaves my king side open. Bishop f4, trading pieces. It's probably not a bad approach. I'm going to be winning the exchange, and you know, the simpler the position, the resulting position, the better. Although I guess, yeah, simpler is better. When up the material. I like to keep it simple. Everything is tight and compact. We're up the exchange for nothing. You know, textbook win. But if he sacks for the white squared bishop, you know, if my white squared bishop is gone, it's not so easy at all, actually. Thinking. What am I thinking about? I'm gonna get my queen trapped. Trying to get my queen trapped here. The other option was like queen g5. Maybe here I missed queen c3. Doesn't really do anything though. I wanted to stop him from going queen b6. He just blundered. All right. Thank you for the game, Guvan. Don't be afraid to play, man. Feel free to challenge me anytime. Only stupid names left with the 5+5. I normally don't play 5+5, but I'll let you slide on it. This will be the last game today, guys, unless it's like, you know, 5 minutes long or something. Unusual opening, yeah. A3. I like to play the so-called St. George defense with black, and this is simply a St. George with an extra move. You're welcome for the game. Yeah, this is a solid setup by Stupid Names. He's gonna opt for some kind of King's Indian-ish type of thing. Actually, I have to watch out for A5. Not so much, but maybe I should fianchetto my bishop while I'm here. Very solid setup. A little bit related to that setup I played before with knight d2, knight f3, d4, and b4. But in this case I played c4 already. So we have some restrictions. There are some restrictions about how we can play. I don't know what to call these really. That's a sophisticated move, kind of. Knight e7, not playing the traditional knight f6. Kind of like that. Doesn't block his f-pawn for active play. I think I'm going to have to play a d4 based thing. One thing I have learned over the years is that you can't really play the hedgehog against the King's Indian attack. My position resembles something of like a hedgehog. And if you play the hedgehog against the King's Indian attack, what tends to happen is that they just like launch this f-pawn against you. And they have just this attacking chances based on the f-line. And it doesn't seem like you have any kind of, you know, real counterplay. I could not castle, and I've tried to play that kind of position on occasion, but so I don't know. I mean, doing slow stuff like d3, knight d2, this hedgehoggy type of stuff. Maybe it's better to just challenge him directly with d4. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at, you know, that the truth of the matter is it may be better to play d4. And just play a kind of French in reverse. French against the King's Indian attack, if you will. e4, knight d2, f5, and then it's complicated. Not my favorite kind of position, though. I have to admit. Only stupid names left. This move looks wrong. But I guess it's all relative. Maybe he wants to get his bishop outside the pawn chain and then play f5. But somehow, if I take on e5, he takes with the bishop. Then I take on e5. So what's up with that? Like, pawn takes pawn, queen takes, rook takes, knight takes e5, rook d1 mate. That's not really good. I think we'll try something else. I saw that happen in a tournament game. A master got mated like with rook d1. It was very strange. A solid master, like a 2400 player. Some strange hallucination. So I'm not sure that taking on there actually has any benefits. I mean, of course I can trade and not play knight takes e5. But that gives him the d file. Why do I want to give him the d file here? The problem with bishop e2, then he trades white squared bishops, which I think favors black. So that's why I'm thinking a long time here. h3 is kind of time consuming. It might be good, but he could also just move his bishop away. It's not a constructive move. Knight d2. He can take on d4. So this move is actually strange. It's looking odd, but in retrospect, I can't find anything really to do great against it. Huh. We've played twice before. I don't really recall these games. What happened here? Well, that was a tough game. That was that Philidor, sorry, center game. Wow. Huh. Alright, I don't know what the best move is here. I'm kind of confused. I'm just going to develop a piece. If he takes on d4, we can take back with the pawn or the bishop. But black looks solid. You always challenge to 5 plus 5. Yeah, actually 5 plus 5 is fine. I don't know what I'm thinking. No, I said 5 plus 3 to 7 plus 3. You always challenge 7 plus 5. 5 plus 5, say what? Yeah, actually 5 plus 5 is alright. What am I talking about? It's just been so long since I had someone challenge me to 5 plus 5. I thought it was against the rules, but who makes the rules around here anyway? It's just that 7 plus 5 is not allowed. I'm sorry. Sorry, Soltigo. You know, it's difficult remembering things. Yeah, I don't mind if people challenge 5 plus 5, but very few people do it. That's cool. Alright, I don't want to have a bad bishop, guys, so this is going to d4. Typical King's Indian theme, if pawn takes d5 leads to a very good structure for black. We don't want to allow that. So bishop takes d5, pawn takes d5, d5, c5. We no longer have a bad bishop. This is kind of sophisticated idea. Taking on d4, taking and then playing d5. That's Rubinstein did that with the white pieces in some positions. Yeah, 5 plus 5 is acceptable. Sorry. I just so rarely get challenged at that time control. I forgot. We just don't want any 7+5 because that gets really long. Except in chess 960. The chess 960 I don't mind. Isn't 5+5 also refers to it? I don't know about that. Fisher time? Who also challenged to 5+5? What? Oh, Soltigo. Yeah, but we didn't actually play. Alright, now I like white a little bit here, but we're talking about a marginal itty-bitty advantage. Very solid for black. No, ultimately his king safety is slightly compromised, but I mean I'm not really in a position to take advantage of that. Even if I had knight on e4, queen on b2, he still has f6 and he's okay. Although now at rook e8, you know, slightly weakening that square, those sort of threats become a bit more realistic. I'm still a few moves away from exercising my threats on the long diagonal. But I don't think that most aggressive players would play the way he's played. I mean, typically what you get is d4, e4, knight d2, and f5, and it's kind of a race where black attacks on the king side, white attacks on the queen side. Those kind of French positions I'm not a big fan of. I also, rarely play e6 against the closed Sicilian, where you can get that kind of structure, and I feel rather uncomfortable there. I just have never really played the French, except for a few exceptional games. I don't really like playing d4, but against this particular setup, wow, queen c8 was played. Strange move. Okay, I hope there's nothing you can do about my undefended bishop here. Look at this move. I guess he's hoping for h3. It may be hope chess to sacrifice a piece or something. There looks like legitimate attacking chances there. Oh, if I were to just play h3. He has weird moves like knight f5, queen f5. I'm not sure what his plan is. Maybe queen f5, queen c3. Here's a player who doesn't mind tension, huh? Most people fear tension, but he's taking my advice and embracing it. I mean, at this point, he probably can't sack a piece if h3, but it still looks kind of weird. He didn't like that. He didn't like that tension. Bishop takes knight e5. So I have to take with a knight. Extremely solid for 1500. Black is almost equal here. We have maybe an infinitesimal advantage. No weaknesses for black. c5, we've got a little... But I mean, if c5, take... Yeah, we have a little advantage. It's not much, though. He could try, like, take knight h4. Thematic. And then I have to go back to e2. He's going to lose on time here. It's weird. Now he dropped a piece. That's the point. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for today. We're basically approaching 12:30. I can't play another game. But I shouldn't count my chickens till they're hatched. So we're up a piece. I've got mating threats with knight to g4. But if you look at this game, I mean, right up to the blunder, Black is really, really solid here. The computer says I'm 0.6, 0.7 better for white. I thought like just take and take. Wow, bishop g4. There's a weird tactic from the computer. That might be strong. A pawn sacrifice. Let's see the opening before I have to go. Not too many games, as you can imagine. But I like g6. Here's a good game. Indian against Bangladeshi Grandmaster. e3. Now we got some games. Only Pavel Blatny played 97, but I think that's not a bad move. Just because Pavel played it doesn't make it bad. Okay, 97, knight f3, castles, knight. Now, some guy did knight c3 here, but I think that's a little bit, maybe a little bit weird to block the bishop on b2. If the structure closes, then it's a different story. See d4, and then this bishop g4. Yeah, so there were like little tactics here. Wow, apparently he can play knight d7. That's a neat idea, which I didn't even consider, of course. So I just went here. Peter doesn't like that. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that bad. This is probably normal. Bishop takes d4, e takes d4, and then something like rook e8. Bishop e2. And you can do d5 at some point. I'll have to play... I probably need to play c5, I would think, strategically. And he starts to get pressure on my d4 pawn. That looks kind of nasty, actually. What am I going to do about that d4 pawn? So I don't know what I did wrong. I mean, apparently knight d2 was a mistake in this position. I'm supposed to play bishop e2. That way I can recapture with the queen on d4. But I didn't like this. Like e4, knight d2, bishop takes e2, queen takes e2, f5. You know, with the standard position. It's like straight out of the closed Sicilian or something. A French closed Sicilian type of hybrid. Just this is the sort of position I'm not really used to playing. You know, probably white is okay, but I'd feel more comfortable as black here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing on Twitch. Tomorrow night is the subscriber stream, 7 p.m. with game analysis. So if you're a subscriber, bring an interesting game to go over for tomorrow night's stream, 7 p.m. I'll be back then, and Friday as well. Sunday simul, 6:30 p.m. It'll be like 30-30 this week with 20 players. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you tomorrow night. And thanks, Soltigo. Thanks, everyone, for subscribing. Please support the stream with donations on PayPal. I'm going to be, you know, investing in a new chair coming up, so it's really a big deal. Other than that, we'll be going for, you know, more subscribers over on the YouTube channel. If you can do that, it's free. Why not? Video chess training on YouTube. And I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Thanks everyone for subscribing. Bye bye. Bye bye.